Today we're going to learn something about L-bodies. So I got some cool stuff here. This is a Reman rack and pinion Moog. There we go. It is for 83 and down. These are both manual racks. And this one is for 84 and up. They're both brand new Reman units. Over there on the floor is an 82 and down power unit. I ordered the wrong number, so now I have one of those. Hopefully I find a home for that thing someday. But I'm going to take these out of the box and we're going to compare them because they've always got different numbers, but I don't know what the difference is. So we're going to find out together. Okay, they are out of the box. Obviously color doesn't matter too much, really. That just happens to be the color they repainted them. So the biggest difference that I can see is the splines. This one has a little finer splines and a smaller notch, you know, a lining notch than this one does. And the blue one is the 83 and down, and the black one is the 84 and up L-body stuff. So the boots themselves, these boots, this one looks a little bit bigger, I guess. I don't think it is. I think it's just the particular style they used. It just flares out a little more right away. But they are different from left to right, which seems odd to me, but I guess that's just what it is, you know, because this one doesn't have an extra flare on it. This one does. You know, same thing over here, got a little bit of a bump out. Oops, just show you the screen right there. And over here it does not. So the other thing that I actually measured is it looks like the length that this whole thing sticks out longer. It does not. I measured it as best I could, you know, from kind of like the center line right in there on both of them, and they're both within a 1/4 inch, maybe, kind of depending on how you lay down the tape measure. So I think you could swap them between 83 and older and 84 and newer with just changing off this intermediate shaft that goes between here and the actual steering column. You know, it's got that U-joint in it. I think that would swap out just fine. These holes here, these mounting holes all seem to be the same. I know there's another kind of a U-clamp looking thing that goes over here somewhere. I forget exactly where it is. I think it's right there, maybe? I forget. Anyway, that doesn't matter too much because that's just a clamp over it, and it bolts on about the same like that. Just, it's not part of it. It's a separate piece, and it's got a big rubber bushing on it. And so I think that was the one thing that I was always curious about personally myself. What is the difference between these rack and pinions? Because I'd always see different part numbers, but there was never really good specs that told me anything. And the reason why I have these is because, especially with the L-bodies, you don't need power steering. You really don't. I mean, it's a light enough vehicle, and you don't need power steering when you're going down the highway. You just don't. If I was driving around town all the time, you know, say doing deliveries or something with a Omni, it'd be a different story. But I'm not. So the other thing that I did notice, so the 83 from lock to lock is 3 3/8 turns. The 84, they changed ratio just a little bit, 3 5/8, so about another half a turn more out of the slightly newer one. So that gives you a little better mechanical advantage. Obviously, you can turn faster with this one, but this one is easier to turn with the manual steering. So, and then here's just this power one that I kind of ordered by accident. Obviously, these mountings are going to be in the same place on the K-member. You have your 2 power steering lines, hoses going in. This shaft is significantly larger in diameter than the other 2. So I think you could convert from one to the other without a whole lot of problem. And I actually did that once. I converted from power steering to manual steering because I had had a bad inner, one bad outer, and I had a manual rack sitting there, and I just swapped it all over, and I was done. I don't remember changing that middle piece, but maybe that intermediate shaft was still attached to the rack and pinion when I swapped it over. So now I have this rack and pinion. I don't know what I'm gonna do with. Maybe someday I'll use it. We'll find out, I guess. So there you go. There's a little lesson in L-body rack and pinions. I know not a lot of people are going to care about this, but for the few of us that are out there that still like these things a lot, like, because I've got all kinds of rampages, more than I should probably have, but not enough because I always want more. Yeah, there you go. There's a little lesson for you. And for some bonus L-body material, I stumbled across this. Also, here, that's the Moog number. There's a handful of these things still out there for sale. But I found the Moog number just looking for a replacement for that little dog bone strut that goes between the engine and the cross member. And because you can get those all over the place. They're cheap. They're like $5. And I just thought, oh, I wonder if there's any Moog ones, actually, you know, like good, super high quality ones. Well, Moog doesn't make that per se. They make a kit. So instructions came in here, all kinds of stuff. But the cool thing, so you got the brackets. That's the one that goes on the K member. This one goes up on the engine. But the neat thing is this little guy, because normally, like a factory application, that's just it's a solid mount. This is a little shock absorber. Super awesome. I think that's gonna, I mean, for a high horsepower or even manual transmission, because they were always in manuals, I think that'd be really, really nice. Oddly enough, the instructions specifically say this is not for any 2.2 engine except turbocharged models and minivans. I suppose minivans because the K member's in a different spot, so then this isn't going to work. I don't know why that wouldn't work for turbo, unless they're worried about something getting too warm, or if there's a bracket in the way, maybe. I don't know. I'll find out, because I have some turbo L bodies I wanna mess with. I've got one that I need to cut up for parts. So as I'm doing that, I will see once how well that one might fit in there. But anyway, little bonus L body cool material.